There are words that carry weight far beyond their syllables. Names that echo deeper than sound, they awaken emotion, memory, and desire. When you call someone by a name that no one else dares to use, something inside them shifts. It's no longer just about affection, it becomes about identity, how they see themselves when they're with you. We often underestimate the power of language, yet it is through language that connection is born, sustained, and deepened. The right nickname doesn't just make her smile, it makes her feel seen, understood, desired in a way she didn't know she wanted. Names are more than just labels, they are emotional anchors that connect deeply to our sense of identity and belonging. When you call someone by their name, you're not just addressing them, you're acknowledging their existence in your world. Psychology has long shown that hearing one's own name activates the same areas in the brain that respond to feelings of reward and affection. That's why we naturally lean in when someone says our name. It's not vanity, it's emotional wiring. In relationships, names hold even greater significance because they become emotional triggers, shaping how two people experience each other. When you give someone a nickname, it becomes a private symbol of connection. It says, "You're different. You're mine." That single phrase carries the subtle implication of intimacy and exclusivity, both of which are powerful emotional drivers in attraction. The psychology behind nicknames is rooted in how we form attachments. Humans crave recognition, not the superficial kind, but the kind that makes us feel understood and valued. A nickname can bypass logic and speak directly to emotion. It becomes a cue that reminds her of how she feels in your presence. Every time she hears it, her mind associates it with warmth, safety, curiosity, or desire, depending on the energy you've attached to it. This is why certain names feel tender while others feel playful or even seductive. It's not the word itself, it's the meaning it acquires through repetition and context. When you understand this, you realize that attraction isn't built solely on appearance or charm, it's built on emotional experiences. The right nickname acts like an emotional shortcut. It can take an ordinary moment and turn it into a moment of connection. Imagine saying her name in a way that only you do, with a tone that carries both affection and authority. That sound alone can change the atmosphere between you. She doesn't analyze it consciously, she just feels drawn to it, to you. Because in that simple act, you've given her something that touches her emotionally and psychologically. Language is the foundation of emotional intimacy. The words you use create the emotional world she steps into when she's around you. If your words feel authentic, warm, and confident, she'll feel safe to open up and reciprocate. But if your language feels cold, distant, or generic, she'll keep her guard up. The psychology of nicknames works because it transforms language into emotion. It's not about flattery or control, it's about creating resonance. When she feels that resonance through the name you give her, she doesn't just hear you, she connects with you on a level that words alone can rarely reach. There is a profound difference between an ordinary nickname and one that carries emotional depth. Most nicknames are surface-level, cute, familiar, or socially acceptable terms of endearment that anyone could use. They make someone feel liked, but not necessarily desired or seen. Emotionally charged nicknames, on the other hand, go beyond comfort. They touch the core of a person's emotional world. They make her feel something she hasn't felt before because they are infused with genuine intention and emotional energy. When you call someone by a name that feels uniquely hers, it signals that you notice the details others overlook. It's the difference between calling her baby and calling her by something that reflects a part of her personality, her mood, or the energy she brings into your life. That difference creates emotional impact. Ordinary nicknames often lack individuality. They are borrowed expressions that have lost their spark through overuse. Anyone can say them, and because of that, they rarely hold meaning. Emotionally charged nicknames, however, are personal creations. They are shaped by moments, inside jokes, or private emotions shared between two people. They hold the power of context, the memory of where it started, the feeling behind it, and the connection it represents. This is what makes them irresistible. She begins to associate that name not just with you, but with the emotional experience that comes with it. It becomes a reminder of warmth, attraction, and familiarity. The reason these nicknames work on a psychological level is because they tap into one of our deepest human needs, the need to feel special. When a woman feels like a nickname belongs only to her, it activates emotional exclusivity. She begins to link that word to her identity within the relationship, making it something she wants to protect and nurture. Every time you use it, you reinforce the connection and remind her that what exists between you is unique. It becomes more than a word, it becomes a symbol of belonging. Emotionally charged nicknames also engage the senses differently. The tone, rhythm, and delivery carry emotional cues that bypass rational thought. The way you say it, slowly, softly, with certainty, can amplify its meaning far beyond the word itself. These subtle elements of communication create an emotional frequency that she tunes into unconsciously. It's not about manipulation or performance, it's about authenticity. You are speaking directly to her emotions, using language that feels personal and alive. When a nickname comes from that place of emotional truth, it doesn't just capture her attention, it captivates her imagination, making her crave that feeling of recognition again and again. Exclusivity is one of the most powerful psychological triggers in human attraction. When something feels rare, it immediately becomes more valuable, and the same applies to emotional language. Forbidden nicknames hold a magnetic pull because they are not meant for everyone. They exist in a private world between two people, where the boundaries of intimacy are defined through secrecy and trust. When you use a nickname that only you are allowed to say, it creates a sense of possession and connection that others cannot replicate. It tells her that she occupies a space no one else can fill, and that feeling of exclusivity builds emotional intensity. She begins to associate you with that sense of being chosen, seen, and desired beyond the ordinary. This sense of exclusivity also ties deeply to the psychology of desire. Humans are naturally drawn to what feels scarce or forbidden because it triggers curiosity and emotional investment. When a nickname carries that air of secrecy or danger, it becomes a small rebellion against the ordinary. It feels like something that exists outside the rules, a shared secret that binds two people together. That's why forbidden nicknames often feel electric. They carry the thrill of intimacy without needing physical touch. Every time you use that nickname, you remind her that she's part of something exclusive, something that only the two of you understand. This creates a subtle but powerful form of emotional dependency. Forbidden nicknames also heighten emotional memory. Because they're not meant for public use, they stay protected within a private emotional space. This privacy amplifies their effect because she begins to replay them in her mind, often when you're not around. The thought of that name, and the way you say it, keeps you emotionally present even in your absence. It's as if the name becomes a key that unlocks her feelings for you whenever she hears or remembers it. That's the power of exclusivity, it makes something small feel irreplaceable. At its core, the forbidden nickname represents ownership without control. It's not about dominance but about emotional imprint. When you call her by a name that no one else uses, it tells her she has a side of herself that only you can reach. It becomes your emotional signature, a mark of intimacy that cannot be duplicated. That's what makes it so powerful. It's not just about the sound of the word, but about what it represents, the connection, the secrecy, the shared emotional world that belongs only to the two of you. The delicate balance between playfulness and power is what gives certain nicknames their irresistible charm. When you blend these two energies, you create a dynamic that keeps attraction alive and unpredictable. Playfulness disarms defenses, it brings laughter, lightness, and spontaneity into the connection. Power, on the other hand, establishes presence, confidence, and emotional authority. When you use a nickname that carries both, it sends a complex message. You're not only someone who makes her feel comfortable, but also someone who makes her feel excited, curious, and slightly challenged. This duality is the essence of emotional chemistry because it engages both her heart and her mind. Playfulness is important because it builds emotional safety. It invites openness without pressure. A playful nickname shows that you're confident enough not to take yourself too seriously, and that makes her feel at ease. It creates space for teasing, laughter, and affection, all of which deepen emotional intimacy. Yet, when that same nickname carries a tone of quiet dominance or self-assurance, it adds a layer of tension that keeps her intrigued. It's that tension between comfort and curiosity, between feeling safe and feeling stirred, that fuels desire. She wants to know what's behind the playfulness, what energy drives it, and why it feels so captivating when you say her name in that particular way. Power, in this context, doesn't mean control. It's the energy of presence, the confidence of a man who knows how to express himself without needing validation. A nickname becomes powerful when it's delivered with certainty and subtle emotion. The tone of your voice, the timing, even the eye contact accompanying it, all of these nonverbal cues shape the emotional meaning behind it. When you balance authority with affection, you communicate emotional intelligence. You're telling her, without words, that you understand how to lead emotionally while still allowing space for play. That's what draws her closer, because it feels both grounding and thrilling at once. When you master this balance, a simple word can carry an entire emotional experience. The nickname becomes a dance between strength and softness, teasing and tenderness. She feels both the safety to be herself and the spark to explore something new. This is where attraction transforms into fascination. It's no longer about what you call her, it's about how that word makes her feel every time she hears it. The more skillfully you balance playfulness and power, the more deeply she associates your presence with emotional excitement, making even the simplest nickname echo with connection and desire. Confidence, mystery, and emotional intelligence are the three traits that turn a simple nickname into something unforgettable. When you use a name with confidence, it instantly changes how it's received. Confidence communicates certainty and intent. It shows that you are grounded in your emotions and unafraid to express them. A woman can feel when a man speaks from that place of quiet authority, it makes his words carry weight. When you call her by a nickname confidently, you are not asking for her approval, you are defining a moment, setting an emotional tone. That energy alone can shift her perception of you because confidence is inherently attractive. It suggests that you are emotionally steady, self-assured, and comfortable in your role as the initiator of connection. Mystery, however, adds the element of fascination. It's what keeps her wondering, thinking, and replaying your words long after you've said them. A nickname with a touch of mystery doesn't reveal everything at once. It might carry a hidden meaning, an inside story, or an emotional undertone that only the two of you understand. This keeps the connection alive because it invites curiosity. She starts to associate your words with discovery, and that sense of anticipation becomes intoxicating. Mystery isn't about being vague, it's about revealing emotion in layers, never all at once. It's about leaving just enough unsaid that she feels compelled to think about you, to imagine what you mean, and to crave more of your presence. Emotional intelligence ties it all together. Without it, confidence can feel arrogant and mystery can turn into confusion. Emotional intelligence is the ability to read the moment, to sense what she's feeling, and to respond in a way that deepens connection rather than forcing it. When you use a nickname with emotional awareness, you're attuned to her reactions. You know when to be playful, when to be tender, when to pull back, and when to lean in. This sensitivity creates trust. It tells her that your confidence isn't about ego, it's about understanding. It tells her that your mystery isn't about manipulation, it's about emotional depth. Together, these three elements create emotional magnetism. Confidence makes her feel secure, mystery keeps her intrigued, and emotional intelligence makes her feel understood. When a nickname carries all three energies, it becomes more than a name, it becomes an experience. Every time she hears it, she feels seen, desired, and emotionally connected. It's this combination that turns attraction into obsession, making her associate you not just with a word, but with the feeling that only you know how to evoke.